Hey everyone, welcome. We've got day 3 here, and today we're looking at questions and what kind of questions we've been wrestling with in 2022. And I admit that there are many years where I'm just kind of trying to survive. I'm not really thinking deeply or trying to make connections or understand myself more. There are lots of years when I was raising young kids where I was just surviving. And so if someone was to ask me, what questions were you thinking about this year? What were you wrestling with? I would have had no idea what they're talking about. So I get it. This is kind of a, maybe an esoteric question, maybe a little deeper, but see if there's space for it for you. What questions have you been wrestling with this year? I know it would be so much easier if someone just gave us the answers and we didn't have to wrestle with the questions. But I've experienced it in my own life, when I think about why do I keep finding myself in this familiar situation? There's something in my personality that just gets triggered and I keep finding myself here, what do I need to do? And if someone was just to hand me the idea and say, here it is, this is what you need to do, I don't think it would stick. I'd be like, no, probably that's not it. I think it's in the wrestling, it's in the grit, of trying to figure it out and trying to see it in ourselves that we come to actually appreciate and own the answers, which I think is the real magic of it. It's kind of like that story, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And this process of learning to wrestle with questions is a lifelong technique. And so if we were just given answers, it would never teach us really how to wrestle with the important questions. So our invitation to mindfulness today. What foundational questions have you been wrestling with? And I've given you a few of mine that I've been wrestling with this past year. So maybe take it to your journal and think about what are some of the foundational questions that you've been wrestling with. And they can be anything like, I keep running out of money. I don't know how to make this budget work. My knee is really hurting. I've been trying all different exploratory therapies and nothing seems to be helping. Or it can be, interpersonal. I keep butting heads with my teenage son, and how do I figure that out? Or it can be impersonal, with yourself. For me, one of them is, how do I keep working on becoming less validation dependent? So take a look at it, kind of poke around and see what comes up for you. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you back here for day 4 tomorrow. Namaste, friends. Joy in your journey.